Okay, part 4. The confusion is I rearranged everything before coming and then left the USB stick that has the rearranged everything. So what you're going to see is not what I want to show you, because that's what I got. Apologies. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Vimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadad Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We're getting towards the end of Canto 10, Chapter 3, the Advent of Lord Krishna. And we've heard some pretty interesting things in the course of going along. But if Krishna can manifest 16,108 forms of himself, and do simultaneous different activities during different times of the day at the same time of the day in Dwaraka. And if Krishna can manifest himself as many gopis as there are gopis and engage with them in rasa dance simultaneously, he can certainly appear in two forms of Krishna simultaneously. And sure enough, that's what he did. And there's different versions of what he did. One version the common one is the son of Vasudeva and Devaki was an expansion of the original, or a portion of the original. Not a portion of the portion, but a direct plenary expansion of the original form, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. And he appeared at midnight in the prison house of Kamsa, Vasudeva Krishna. And simultaneously, Krishna appeared, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna appeared as the son of one of the two children, the son of Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, simultaneously, exactly at the same time, along with Yogamaya. And that's the common version. And then we've been hearing when Vasudeva transferred his son to the side of Yashoda, that Vasudeva Krishna merged with Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, became integrated one Krishna. The two Krishnas became again one Krishna. Whew. So as to not get confused, how many Krishnas are there? And then there's another version. The other version is Jiva Goswami in Krishna Sandarbha, explaining that the child that was born of Vasudeva and Devaki was Vasudeva Krishna and Swayam Bhagavan Krishna as the son of Devaki in Krishna Sandarbha. Now, one way of answering, how do you understand that? And one way of answering is, it's kind of like the back door, different days of Brahma, different events, different details and different days of Brahma, which is certainly very reasonable. And does that fit the situation? Because I probably should go back and read commentary, Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur's commentary on that Krishna Sandarbha topic, and how is that explained besides different days of Brahma? That may be an explanation given. And those are details. The essence is Krishna has appeared. Now we're still in the prison house of Kamsa. At least that's the painting. There's the prison house. They have their little private quarters up there. And this is Devaki offering prayers after Vasudeva has offered his prayers. So we were hearing, she has a mix, as does Vasudeva. They're different perspectives of the mix, of the Vatsalya Rasa, and then on the other side, the Aishvarya Rasa, or Aishvarya Bhav, of appreciating he's the personality of Godhead. So here she's saying both in this one sentence, or one verse. Your form as Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is appreciated by yogis in meditation. Please make this form invisible for those who see with material eyes, meaning Kamsa. He should not see you with his material eyes. Please be invisible. Please become invisible. So this is something that we saw yesterday. Devaki is as if saying, you are fearless and your devotees are fearless, then why, O Lord, do you keep your mother and father in fear? Fear of Kamsa. Krishna, O mother, I've appeared to kill Kamsa. Bring Kamsa here and I will kill him before your eyes. Fearing such talk from Krishna, Devaki, out of motherly affection, so this is the Vatsalya Rasa feature, thinking that her small child could not kill Kamsa, although she just identified him as Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, rather worrying about harm coming to the child from Kamsa, she became more fearful. Her body began shaking. We heard this yesterday. Did you find it? The little one. Okay. I beg your pardon? Could you... No, it's okay. It's okay. So I'm going to do a switcheroo. This is the one that's been edited, and it's going to look like I want it to look, instead of the one that was causing me uncertainty what to do. So 30 seconds, and I'll be with you in it. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So now, this is Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur's commentary on why this flow of this conversation. He goes on, it is not suitable to follow the strategy of showing fear before my child, even if he is showing himself as God. Quite irrational, isn't it? Rather, using sweet words is a better policy. Thinking this way, she began to reason, and another way in order to get her child to change his form. So this is review from yesterday. Oh, Master, this splendid form, which is the object of meditation, should not be visible to human eyes. So, this is new. Therefore, she requested Lord Vishnu to disappear. This is Prabhupada. Later, when harassed, she would think of him within her mind. There she is in her prison and thinking of the four-armed form of Vishnu that just appeared as her son. Oh, Madhusudana, this is the next verse. Because of your appearance, I'm becoming more and more anxious in fear of Kamsa. She's being very direct. Therefore, please arrange for that sinful Kamsa to be unable to understand that you have taken birth from my womb. Now, Kamsa already was alerted. He's been on the countdown. As you know, when the child should be born, and he's got double the security, and he's on red alert. Oh, my Lord, you are the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead, and your transcendental four-armed form holding consciousness, club, and lotus is unnatural for this world. Kamsa is going to pick up exactly on what's going on here. Please withdraw this form and become just like a natural human child, so that I may try to hide you somewhere. Her mothers, you know, sometimes. Next verse. At the time of devastation, the entire cosmos containing all created moving and non-moving entities enters your transcendental body and is held there without difficulty. She's worried about him? Come on. But now, this transcendental form has taken birth from my womb. People will not be able to believe this, and I shall become an object of ridicule. She's a pure devotee. She just had Krishna as her son. She's worried about being ridiculed. What's going on? I mean, that's the Bhagavatam verse, too. Next, the Supreme Personality of Godhead replied. So now he's heard both of them. And he's going to disclose interesting things. Now, this was the interesting things has been put into the PowerPoint itself, but there's a nice document was circulated, right? Yeah. That it's like the cut and paste of the BBT translation or the Prabhupada's translation of what Krishna says to both of them. Because he's heard both of them. We heard what Vasudev's words were very elevated. And Devaki is a little confused, as far as I'm concerned. When both of you were ordered by Lord Brahma to create progeny, you first underwent severe austerities by controlling your senses. You spent 12,000 celestial years, not earthly years. So what's a celestial year? You know, a celestial year is our 6 month is there one day. Our next 6 months is our year is there morning and evening. 12,000 celestial years performing difficult activities of tapasya in consciousness of me. They're very qualified. I was very much satisfied with your devotion and austerity. Since I am the best of all bestowers of benedictions, I appeared in this same form as Krishna to ask from you, to ask you from me, take from me a benediction you desire. Of course, he already knows what they desire. You then express your desire to have a son exactly like me. Well, who's like Krishna anyways? First, Jiva Goswami's commentary. Impurities of their minds were washed away so that they were not aware of any of them. Then they were completely purified by destruction of the most subtle desires. By this increasingly effective purification, one can understand their extreme determination. They developed most steady minds. This, however, means that they became fixed in the Lord. Then they desired happiness from getting the Lord as their son. So, is that material happiness or a spiritual happiness? It's a spiritual happiness. They have no material desires remaining. But to have no material desire doesn't mean having no desire for happiness. No, the pure Vatsalya rasa with no worldly contamination. And here's Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur. The use of 3 words, bhakti, shraddha, and nitya, indicate that the devotion, their devotion, was not merely an anga of yoga practice. Rather, it was absorption in the Lord. Bhakti, shraddha, and nitya. That by itself leads to perfection. It is a cause of prema. The cause of prema is something that's bestowed. At the same time, prema is something that's already within. So it's already there and it needs to be awakened. And it becomes awakened, or the circumstance, the qualification for it to become awakened, for it to be bestowed and awakened, is there's no other shelter but one full shelter. You know, we hear about this in different ways from different explanations. there's the positive saying, Krishna, I am yours. And then the other is, I have no other shelter but you. It sounds like the same thing, but it's the backwards and forwards of the same thing. You're my only shelter, I have no other shelter. It kind of sounds like the same thing, but there's nothing else going on. And most of the time, for all of us, there's something else going on. And how to get to that point where there's nothing else going on. There's no other shelter. So, Tapo Divyam is the standard that Srila Prabhupada would speak, Rishabhdev. Their bhakti was mixed, however, with Gyan and Aishwarya because of practice of yoga and austerity. In other words, they're not Nanda and Yasoda. Nanda and Yasoda didn't undergo austerities to get the personality of Godhead as their son. In other words, spontaneous devotion doesn't. The Aishwarya feature is shrunken to nil, and Sutapa and Prishni were in that category. They were very clear. They wanted the personality of Godhead as their son. It's like, wow. And 12,000 celestial years. Wow. And then Krishna appeared. We'd like a son like you. Some also reason that since Nitya Siddha Vasudeva and Devaki had Nitya Siddha Aishwarya Gyan mixed bhakti, their angsas, Prishni and Sutapa, also had mixed bhakti. Their tapa and yoga practice were therefore incidental. You follow what's being said? I'll do it. I'll say it in different language. There's Vasudeva and Devaki, and then there's Prishni and Sutapa, and they have their iterations, one lifetime after the next lifetime after the next lifetime, 3 lifetimes in a row, and the different names of the form of Krishna that appeared as the son of Prishni and Sutapa, etc., etc. But the mood of the parents and then the reciprocation of the personality of Godhead is according to the mood of the parents or mood of the devotee. And their bhakti was a kind of bhakti that was pure bhakti, but there's some mix. So we must call them pure devotees. But there's qualities, there's perfect, more perfect, most perfect devotees. So they're perfect devotees. Krishna became their son. He appeared before them. And whatever you want, I'll be like a son like you. So, but they were very focused on their objective, having Krishna as their son, or one like Krishna as their son. Mixed bhakti. Nitya Siddha devotees, Nitya Siddha devotees, eternally perfect. But then if they're eternally perfect, what are they engaging in austerities and meditation and those kinds of things for? To attain Krishna as their son. And therefore their tapa and yoga were incidental. Meaning that wasn't the cause, it was their heart's disposition that was the cause. And the cause brought the result, or the effect. And that's Krishna became their son. Then this is Krishna speaking to Vasudeva and Devaki. Being a husband and wife, but always sonless, your attracted by sexual desires, for by the influence of Deva Maya, transcendental love, you wanted to have me as your son. So for the cause was they're wanting Krishna as their son, and this sexual desire was the byproduct of wanting Krishna as their son. The Vatsalya rasa was the cause of the sexual desire. Thus I fulfilled your desire. Therefore, you never desire to be liberated from this material world, meaning life after life, and so be it. You've had, now this is your third lifetime. And Prabhupada commenting, Vasudeva and Devaki had been Dam Patni, or husband and wife, since the time of Suttapa and Prishni, and they wanted to remain husband and wife, though to have the Supreme Personality as their son. This attachment came about by the influence of Deva Maya. Now that's another term. There's Yoga Maya and, all kinds of Maya. Mahamaya. So Maya means energy. So Deva, divine energy. Although this was a transaction of spiritual potency, their desire appears like attachment for sex in conjugal life. But it may appear like that, but that's not what's really happening. And so, as the son of Suttapa and Prishni, he appeared as Prishnigarbha, a form of Vishnu. And then again, he appeared as Vamana, because that's the next iteration of these special parents. I, the same personality, have now appeared of you both as your son for the third time. Before you should be. Before both of you as your son. Now this is Hari Suri. Does anybody here need an introduction to who is Hari Suri? In the back, okay. Hari Suri is from a different devotional line. He's in the line of Tukaram. And he is also a poet. We spent some time the other day, yesterday, a little bit about Kavi Karnapur. He was a poet. And so Hari Suri is a poet. And he had a profound fascination from childhood, and so through his spiritual teachers he learned about Krishna's pastimes, and he wrote in Hindi very difficult to understand, puzzling kind of poetry describing Krishna's appearance. And these are some verses translated from his it wasn't in Hindi, it was in Sanskrit, and explaining many things having to do with Krishna's appearance. The 10th Canto Bhagavatam, specifically Krishna in Vrindavan. So Sri Hari Suri. And Hari Parshad Prabhu has a particular liking for him because his spiritual master has a particular liking for him. And so he translated some verses, first 6 chapters of Canto 10. So that's where this is from. This is his commentary, an English translation of his commentary. After they performed severe austerities and satisfied me, they asked to obtain a son like me as a boon, and I gave them that benediction. But the fact is that there's no one like me in all the 3 lokas. Knowing this to be true to his word, he appeared thrice. It's just an explanation of the 3 times, a poetic explanation. Carrying on, next verse. I have shown you this form of Vishnu just to remind you of my previous births. Otherwise, if I appeared like an ordinary human child, you would not believe that the Supreme Personality Godhead Vishnu has indeed appeared. So they wanted, and with devotion, not just tapa, but with great devotion and extended fixing of the cleansing and everything. He wanted them to be very clear, I've come. In the form of Vishnu, you wanted a personality, you wanted a son like me. Here I am. And we heard this twice. Now here's it this third time. It's this immaculate conception idea that's there in Christianity, that between Joseph and Mary there was no contact, no sexual contact, but Christ was born. Immaculate conception. So it's not the same, but it's something somewhat similar, from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki to the womb of Devaki. That's not a normal impregnation. But it's fulfilling their desire. That's how the Lord appeared. And there he is in his four-armed form. After thus instructing his father and mother, in their presence by his internal potent energy, the Lord then transformed himself into a small human child. So there he is, the small human child at the feet of Lord Vishnu. So it wasn't really two forms of the Lord at the same time, but he just shrunk, became a little baby. But we're going to hear tomorrow, at least this is what I was thinking to do, going back to the very first 5 verses, are cluster verses together from chapter 3, the advent of Lord Krishna. He appeared with hair, with a crown, with ornaments, with jewelry, with things that the way that a child is not born, with 4 arms, and he appeared like that from the very, very beginning. Not immaculate conception and divine appearance from the get-go. Now he's having showed them that was the purpose, and now he's assuming the childlike form. The childlike form for her purposes was perhaps she could hide him. How are you going to hide him in the prison house? He's effulgent. He's quite irrational. And he's the personality of Godhead that holds the universes within him, and Kamsa may come and try to harm you. It's okay. She's nice. Thereafter, exactly when Vasudeva, being inspired by the Supreme Personality of God, was about to take the newborn child from the delivery room, Yogamaya, the Lord's spiritual energy, took birth as the daughter of the wife of Maharaj Nanda. Like simultaneous. Or you could say slight delay, because Krishna's already appeared and she's just now going to appear when he's taking her. When Vasudeva is taking him. Next verse. By the influence of Yogamaya, all the doorkeepers fell fast asleep. Their senses unable to work. And the other inhabitants of the house, like the prison house, also fell deeply asleep. There they are, tiptoeing past the guards, hiding Krishna underneath his garment. When the sun rises, the darkness automatically disappears. Similarly, when Vasudeva appeared, the closed doors, which were strongly pinned with iron and locked with iron chains, opened automatically. mean, pretty good, huh? You know, they have some way you can walk near a door and the door swings open, you know, like electronic eye or something. But Krishna also means he who takes away all bondage of samsara. This was the cause of the doors becoming unbound. Jiva Goswami writes, the doors unlocked themselves. But Krishna was the actual cause. Even before Krishna came, the doors became unlocked, just as the sun destroys darkness. So there's those fast asleep guards with swords in their hand, and there's Devaki in the back room, and there's Vasudeva tiptoeing in between the sleeping guards. And there's another sleeping guard. Looks like there's a dog next to him. The dog doesn't seem to be asleep. What is it? Tiger. Oh, yeah, it wasn't just a dog. Okay, so there's Anantashesh covering, because it hasn't gone out into the rain yet, but that's okay. Since the clouds in the sky were mildly thundering and showering, Ananta Naga followed Vasudeva, beginning from the door, with hoods expanded to protect Vasudeva and the transcendental child. So here's Harisuri again. You'll see his picture a few times. Why were the clouds in the sky mildly thundering and showering? There's a really nice answer. I am blessed today in this universe. From now on, all the topmost poets will compare Krishna's form to me by saying, Krishna's form is like the blackish blue rain clouds. And so he wants to express his gratitude to the rivers. And so he's showering. The clouds wanted to say this to the ocean, who provides its waters to enliven the clouds. To convey this to the ocean, the clouds started mildly thundering with joy. He's a poet. And why not? So there he is. This is one of the old Krishna book paintings. There's Vasudeva up to his knees, or his ankles at least, in water. And here's where the waves are much more fierce, and he's carrying Krishna. We heard the trepidation that he experienced in crossing the ocean, but he got reassurance from a voice from the sky. Krish means existence, and Na means bliss. Combined together, the two roots indicate that Krishna is the supreme form of God. The existence of bliss, Krishna. Vasudeva was carrying Krishna, the form attractive to all, with the highest bliss. Thus, Vasudeva had no fatigue in carrying him. Rather, he felt the highest bliss. And here's a very interesting painting. Vasudeva looks a little different there. But he looks very happy. And Krishna looks like he's having a good time too. Because of constant rain, River Yamuna was filled with deep water, foaming about with fiercely whirling waves. There's a purpose behind all this. Indra himself was showering rain. He sent forth heavy rain only to ensure that Vasudeva would remain unseen. No, it's at night. They don't have street lights. It's at night, and it's the sky is filled with rain clouds. There's pouring rain clouds, making lots of noise, and there he is, crossing with Krishna in his hands. The word Yamanuja, Yama's youngest sister, Yamanuja, is used to express the completely terrifying condition of the river at that time. But there he goes, protected by Anantashesh, crossing. Another nice painting. Next verse. But as the great Indian Ocean had formerly given way to Lord Ramachandra by allowing him to construct a bridge, the river Yamuna gave way to Vasudeva and allowed him to cross. Looks like there's a path in the river being made by Anantashesh so he can walk nicely. Now here's Harisuri again. This is really far out. On seeing the overflowing waters of Yamuna, Krishna might get some doubt in his heart. What is that doubt? And how did Yamuna solve it? How would my water pastime be possible in these deep waters of Yamuna in future? If Krishna had such a doubt in his heart, then to remove it, Yamuna limited herself in some places up to Vasudeva's knees, in some places up to his navel, in some places up to his neck. Now he made it to the other side. When Vasudeva reached the house of Nanda Maharaj, he saw that all the cowherd men were fast asleep. Thus, he placed his own son on the bed of Yashoda, picked up her daughter, an expansion of Yogamaya, and then returned to his residence, the prison house of Kamsa. Now we heard some other details. Those other details include that the form that he laid by the side of Yashoda merged with the Krishna that he couldn't see. The Krishna that he couldn't see was Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, so Vasudeva Krishna, and the Krishna that he couldn't see became one Krishna. But he only saw one. He only saw the female child, so he picked up the female child, and there he goes. So in this particular painting, over on the right side, he's leaving the male child and taking with him the female child. And people are sleeping all over the place because it's midnight. Vasudeva returned to the prison with the girl child. This is summarized in 2 verses. So there's Devaki waiting for the child. Vasudeva successfully completed his journey from the prison of Kamsa to Gokula. Krishna wants to tell us something through this. What is it? Well, here's something. Here's Harisuri says, whichever saintly person like Vasudeva lovingly holds me close to his heart, all his entanglements effortlessly break and fall away. Like what happened to Vasudeva. Second lesson. The doors to his liberation open automatically, like the doors of the prison opened for Vasudeva. 3. Those who oppose him get distracted elsewhere, like the prison guards. They fell asleep. His good intelligence rises like the moon rises, like the moon appeared to illuminate Vasudev's path. Now, how could there be a moon illuminating his path when it's dark of night and it's stormy and all those clouds in the sky? If the moon wants to appear, moon can appear, right? It's poetic. That's what I take it. The river of material existence that he needs to cross limits herself to his knees, like Yamuna limited herself to Vasudev's knees. Maya also comes in his hands and under his control, like Yogamaya came in the hands of Vasudev. This is the rendering of Harisuri to understand what just happened. Exhausted by the labor of childbirth, Yashoda was overwhelmed with sleep and unable to understand what kind of child had been born to her. No, she didn't recognize, we heard this several times, she didn't recognize that they were twins. I guess that's possible. A mother giving birth to twins wouldn't know it. Yogamaya, right? And there's Vasudev with the third child. That's Krishna by the side of Yashoda. Something was born. That's all she understood. She did not know the child's gender, whether the child was a boy or a girl, or a boy and girl. She was bewildered by Yoga Nidra also. And here's a nice little image of Kavi Karnapur, because we heard yesterday about Kavi Karnapur. And I thought it'd be nice to share with you a little bit about how exalted is Kavi Karnapur, because we don't hear so much about him, as much as we might hear about the six Goswamis, any one of them, and their writings. But he's, even before he was born, he was special. Given a name by Krishna before he was born, and then he was born, and some very interesting, loving exchanges took place between Lord Chaitanya and Kavi Karnapur. And then some exchanges took place when he started growing up and becoming a young boy, and coming to Puri and being in Lord Chaitanya's. So he was a special personality, and a very gifted writer. And so one of the gifted writings is in Under Vrindavan Champu, so you can find some more about him. And we got a little flavor of it yesterday, his writings. Here's a little bit of some of those writings. Mother Yashoda resembled the lake of spiritual ecstasy in which a brilliant blue lotus of personified bliss had appeared. After Yashoda and her family members fell asleep in the maternity room, Hari cried beautifully like a newborn baby. He was good, huh? His crying sounded like the Mahavakya Omkar, announcing the auspicious arrival of his pastimes. When the ladies of Vrindavan heard the sweet sound of Krishna's crying, they woke up and ran to see the Lord. With the mellow of their matchless, overflowing affection, they anointed his body. The natural fragrance of Krishna's body smelled just like musk. After the ladies bathed Krishna in sweet ambrosia. So there's the bathing ceremony of Krishna in Vrindavan. And they're all admiring the beautiful little child with a full head of hair, which never happens. and all of his ornaments and everything else. He looked cleansed and beautiful. Then they smeared his body with fragrant sandalwood pulp. His presence filled the maternity room with good fortune. Although a mere baby, Krishna had had a head full of curly hair. He had more than that too. Look at this. To hide the unique signs of his hands. So on his hands, besides he has marks on his feet. Goad, what's a goad? It's an instrument for controlling an elephant. Fish, conch, etc. The Lord folded his delicate petal-like fingers into his lotus palm. At that time, Krishna laid on his back with his eyes closed. So this is chapter 3, the appearance, the advent of Lord Krishna, right straight from the Bhagavatam. And tomorrow morning we're going to hear the Prabhupada's commentary on that. Those first 5 verses, they're translated together. And all the paraphernalia and how he appeared as in the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. Of course, similar in Vrindavan. So that's it for this evening. Now, one thing I've learned is shorter classes are better. And especially with an audience like this, because there's always so many questions. Thoughtful questions. And then one thoughtful question inspires 3 other people to have similar related thoughtful questions, and that's the best part of the class. Therefore it's a little on the short side, but I hope that's okay. Any comments or questions? All the way in the back. Varsana.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Not exactly from today, but I had heard that the 6 children that were killed represent the 6, like Kama, Krodha, Moha, lust, anger, greed, pride. They were destroyed, and then Devaki welcomed Balaram, who's Sri Guru, Adi Guru, and then Lord Krishna's appearance. Is that an accurate?
Yeah, there's more detail, but that's fine.
Okay.
Those 6, there's some other detail about those 6, but that's okay. Now, somebody had a question from yesterday's class in relation to yesterday's class. Who was that devotee? Huh?
Same question.
Yeah, yes, your question from yesterday.
So, Guru Maharaj, my question was why these 6 child? Why they brutally killed by the Kansa? That was my question.
Why they were what?
Brutally killed by the Kansa, like
No, he was. But one of the. We'll go back.
And who were they?
Okay. We'll go back. Vasudeva was part of the royal family. However, he wasn't a warrior type, he was a minister type in the royal family. And when he was born, there was a sound of kettle drums and some musical instruments and saying the name Adakundundubi, because he was known from his very, very, very beginning as being always truthful. So when he tried this and tried that and Kamsa couldn't be checked, he finally gave, I give you my word. Whatever child, not just the 8th, whatever child is born, I'll give you. And you can do with that child whatever you like. So when he brought the first child, Kamsa was like impressed. No, you keep the child. It's okay. Because it's the 8th child. But then his minister said, no, who knows? Kill the child. So he went back and killed the child. And then the next 6, the next 5. So, because he's Kamsa, and he doesn't mind killing children, because he wants to save his backside. And then Vasudeva broke his word because of his intense love for Krishna. And after seeing what he saw, etc., how can he turn Krishna over to Kamsa? Because the reasonable side is he would kill Kamsa. But the parental affection side was he's a little child and Kamsa's wicked, and he'll kill child number 8 like he did the first 6. So he decided out of his love he would break his word. Bhishma Dev wouldn't break his word, but Vasudeva broke his word out of love for Krishna. So now that's the first 6, and the identity of them was already expressed in the back. They're personifications of the faults, shadoshas, the 6 faults of a living entity. Of course, personified, but that's how they appeared. Okay? Yeah, up front. Oh, here. No, you got it.
Namaskar, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can you help me understand what is bhakti mixed with Aishwarya and Jnana?
Yeah, sure. Let's go to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, it's not mixed. In Vrindavan, they don't have the knowledge that Krishna is the Supreme. One who has the knowledge of what is Supreme, that's a jnani, or one who is carried into realization stage by knowledge or gyan. And a very elevated stage of that gyan is to understand Shad Aishvarya, the six opulences of Bhagavan. So those persons have bhakti mixed with gyan. As we were hearing, Vasudeva Devaki and Prishni and Sutapa, and bhakti mixed with gyan. And that's a pure devotee. One who has that realization. On the other hand, there's the love that's in Vrindavan, where there's no mixture of karma or gyan. That's the definition. That's Rupa Goswami's definition of what bhakti is. You know the verse, right? No? The verse is without without knowledge and karma, jnana vairagya, jnana karma anavratam. Bhakti is defined by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is without a mixture of knowledge or karma, or gyan and karma. Pure devotion, as found in Vrindavan, or those residents of Vrindavan, they don't understand, they don't care to understand Krishna is the all-opulent Supreme. He is what he is. He's my dear friend, here's my son, he's my beloved, he is what he is. And we love him, not because he's the personality of Godhead. So that's bhakti mixed with gyan. Okay?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Wonderful class. I have 2 questions. First is, You said, Krishna, I'm yours, and I have no other shelter. So when we have nothing else going on, is when we can take shelter of the Lord fully and properly. So how can we practically apply this in our life?
Oh, how to
As
practice?
a
You become
grihastha.
pure devotee.
In a grihastha.
You practice bhakti and become pure through practicing bhakti with a purpose. That you, Krishna, I am yours. You're everything to me, and there's nothing else but you. So you should cultivation of bhakti, Shuddha bhakti. That's how. That's your question. The answer is cultivation of Shuddha bhakti. You have to know what it is.
So it's more consciousness, not the activities or actions.
Well, that's correct. Actions follow behind consciousness. What's inside comes out. So it's what's inside.
Okay. And then this is just a random question I was thinking about just now. Is there any Shastric reference to why Vasudeva only took Krishna to Gokul, or why not both of them, or is there any?
There was only one for Vasudeva to take. All there was Krishna. There wasn't a second. Krishna appeared as the son of Devaki.
So why didn't Devaki go along? That's what I'm.
Oh, why did Devaki
Yeah.
go along? Oh, that's your question.
Is there any reason for this?
Have you had children? I think that answers your question. Anyone else? Yes, up front.
Guru Maharaj, I've been contemplating on the word diplomacy that you mentioned in yesterday's class. You mentioned Mother Devaki was diplomatic in hiding Krishna from Kamsa. In Bhagavad Gita chapter 13, simplicity, Arjavam is described as without diplomacy and being very straightforward even to an enemy.
Yes.
So I see that Mother Devaki, out of transcendental
Yes.
fear and affection towards
Yes.
Krishna,
Yes.
she is protecting her child.
Yeah.
But for us, how and where does diplomacy fall in our bhakti life, especially for those who do not have the natural propensity for diplomacy?
Well, thank you for that question. It's a nice way of asking a standard. How do you get to the stage of pure devotion? To get to the stage of pure devotion, there's a doorway, and that's goodness, and then pure goodness. So the doorway is without becoming quality and action like a brahmana. Let me modify that statement. For us that are coming from backgrounds that are very contaminated background by association with materialistic life, we're contaminated. We need that purification process. So the purification includes these principles like straightforwardness, and it's a mode of goodness principle, but the mode of goodness principle can become elevated to Shuddha Sattva principle. In the Shuddha Sattva, then the same rules don't apply, the same yardsticks don't apply. For the devotee and for Krishna, both. And so from the vantage point of a jnani, for the vantage point of one who understands Brahman, not Bhagavan, but understands Brahman, then it's got to be squeaky clean on the standards of this and not that. the realm of spirit and no touch of matter. And there, where's this straightforwardness and simplicity come? Arjavam. And it's a quality that we as practicing devotees should cultivate. And then there's transcendence, where if Krishna wants, very clearly Krishna wants, then you do what Krishna wants. No, we don't have that qualification. We don't have the Krishna channel. And Krishna wants some butter. So we go steal some butter because Krishna wants some butter. we don't do that because we don't have that Krishna channel. But for those that do, then they whatever they do is fine. In Sri Vaishnavism, there's this nice one of the Alvars. I can't remember his name. There's maybe some South Indian persons here know the name of one of the Alvars that had gone to Sri Rangam, and there was no temple for Ranganath, and so he wanted to build a temple. And he went as a saintly person would do, and he and his associates were requesting people to make contribution to build a nice temple for the deity, and nothing was coming. So they made a little plan, and they found how to rob people. You know the Alvar story. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name. And then, one could freeze people, and one could enter into some locked door, and they built the temple that way. It's a fantastic temple too, really big. They did a lot of stealing, but that's a not to be done item. But for the service of the Supreme Lord, one may do, and it's a violation of a rule. So, but those that aren't on that elevated platform, they follow the rules. The rule, it's back to the question. There's straightforwardness in all dealings. And that's the way to live. And we follow that. We're obliged, we're enjoined to follow that principle. Is that okay? Yes.
Guru Maharaj, sorry. I have a follow-up on Rochna Mataji's question, and I have another question, Guru Maharaj, if you allow. On this principle of, I'm trying to understand how do we see other devotees, especially advanced devotees. I have a little difficulty when, particularly in terms of communication, as we are...
Particularly when?
Communication, as we are trying to learn and practice nonviolent communication, and when their behavior or actions or words do not align with that, it just...
Our own or theirs?
Their.
Okay.
So I just want to seek your guidance on this question response.
It's off topic. It's completely off topic. It's a nice question, but it's completely off topic.
Sure.
Another time, okay?
Sure. Thank you. Another question from...
Let me just qualify. One of the things I like to do, and not just like to do, one of the things I do every day is I listen to recorded lectures of Srila Prabhupada. And at the end of every class, there's some questions. And sometimes people would ask an off-topic question. And sometimes he would ask, is this in relation to what we just spent a half an hour, 40 minutes discussing? And then it was, whoops, no. And then Prabhupada said, please keep your questions on topic, because if we go off topic, then all the force of the half hour, 40 minutes is gone. So he required consistently, keep on topic. So that's why my response.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. On topic question.
Okay, thank you.
as we are hearing about Vasudeva and Devaki, I was thinking, after this enormous years of austerities, they personally saw the Lord appearing in front of them. And they have to just, be separated from him. Of course, out of fear and wanting to protect him. But then knowing that Lord is their son, they continued to be apparently suffering for next 12 years or so. And even as Vasudeva is going, he has such a trust and faith in Krishna's plan and words. He was just following. I mean, anything could happen on the way. I was just marveling at their I don't know what's the word,
Unwavering.
Yeah, unwavering faith and complete trust in the Lord.
Here. It's quite extraordinary. Yeah. Not only that, they went back into prison. The personality of Godhead has become their son, and there they are in prison. Because of wicked Kamsa, who could do anything at any time, and who knows? Anyway, he apologized. Kamsa apologized. Gosh, I'm sorry, I killed your 6 children. When he heard from Narada, and the 8th child has been born, so he killed 6 unnecessarily, and he had bad advisors. He did it anyways, and so they have that qualification to have Krishna as their son, in the sense that he's their only shelter, and then separation from him. And they don't know that he's going to come back and get them out of prison and the whole thing. He doesn't know. They don't know. They're not omniscient, but they're fully sold out as parents, just so that he will be protected from Kamsa. Yeah, very special, Vasudeva and Devaki. All the way in the back.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I am confused by one slide. I don't remember it exactly because
The sequence, right?
Yes. It was in reference to that Devaki and Vasudeva were pure devotees, yet it was mentioning that they never desired to be liberated from material existence. It kind of confuses me.
Why?
Question 1, pure devotees are eternally liberated.
Yeah.
So why one needs to have the desire to be liberated?
They don't need it.
Right.
They didn't have it. They didn't need it, and they didn't have it. And for 3 lifetimes of long austerities, they simply wanted Krishna as their son. So that sounds like that's on the material side. They have to have bodies. They have to have another birth to have Krishna as their son. 3 times. So they weren't interested in, we want out of embodiment condition. We're okay having the embodiment condition. We want Krishna as our son. That's an explanation. There's probably multiple other explanations. Second?
No, and other thought was, either way, a pure devotee never has a desire to be liberated. So being pure devotees and having the desire to have Krishna as their child, how can one be
mixed? Because we've heard so many times Krishna only appears in a pure heart. So I'm very, very confused how one can have Aishwarya and Prema mixed and yet have Krishna as their son.
It's a service. I mean, it's the elevatedness of their consciousness is quite unique. How many parents of the personality of Godhead are there? How many appearances of the so each of the parents, each of the mother and father of the personality of Godhead, because appearance in this world means a mother and a father, both. You know, that there can be exception, but the standard is mother and father. And so they may, like Vasudeva, Nanda and Jasoda, they don't have Aishvarya Bhav. They don't have it at all. But others do. I mean, let's go to Aditi in Kashyapa. And a number of her sons were lost their kingdom. They lost their opulence and they lost their kingdom to Bali Maharaj, because powerful king took over the heavens. So she was very sorry for her sons. So she went and asked her husband. You know the story. She went and asked her husband, is there something that can be done? And he gave her the something that can be done. This very, 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 there were 3 varies, difficult austerity and vrata and yagya, and the personality of Godhead appeared. After long austerities, he appeared, came before her and said, I know what your desire is. I'll take care of it. I'll appear as your son. And so the dwarf Vamana became her next son. And so she knew he was the personality of Godhead. But so, as her son, he informed her before he became her son. He's the so parental affection, pure heart. But in her case, certainly there was some mix on the material side, that her sons were deprived of their kingdom by another powerful king with bigger army and etc. So pure enough to have the personality of Godhead as their son with some Aishvarya understanding, but the parental affection at the same time. So there's a mix. And there, Bhakti Rastramita Sindhu, and then its corollary literature has elaborate, very mind-bending details of description of this, that, and the other of different rasas and different moods and different situations. It's not straight line. It's very complicated. But there are situations that work well when the devotion to the personality of Godhead is so strong, as in the case, in her case, Aditi, and in other cases, these 3 lives, not desiring liberation, but desiring the Supreme Lord as their son, and undergoing 12,000 celestial years of austerities to qualify themselves. So it's quite exceptional. But in so look at the rule, and it doesn't fit. Look at the exception, and they're quite exceptional. And the combination is as you described it, on the one hand and the other hand. And they're not bewildered by, they're not confused by what seems contradictory. It's parental affection. The rasa is driving the machine. And then the machine can sometimes look like this and look like that. but it's rasa, the taste of being the parent, and being the parent of the personality of Godhead. That's the rasa. And there's different paths to get to that place where there's some mix. It's unique. That's not the norm. So the perplexity that you're experiencing is it doesn't fit. If there's this, okay. If there's that, okay. It's unique. To align with the pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who comes for the sake of rasa, to fulfill the desires of his devotees. I mean, look what, in this document it'll be circulated, but look what Krishna is saying to Vasudeva for 3 lifetimes. And again, 3 lifetimes, so that you're really clear. I'm the personality of Godhead. Here are 4 arms, and look at all this paraphernalia, and your desire has been fulfilled. This was your desire, and here it is. Now you're desiring that I take a childlike form. I'll take a childlike form. I mean, it's not like he's a puppy dog and it says roll over and he rolls over. But it's a pastime because there's another pastime that's about to be enacted. It just fits seamlessly in with everything. So one of the things that helps, well, one of the essential things is purity, and then that which is confusing can become less confusing because of purity. But then the big picture is what Krishna is doing as he's reciprocating with so many persons who are his devotees. Rasa is driving the pastimes. And he's enjoying. He's enjoying the love of Vasudeva and Devaki. He's enjoying the love of Nanda and Yasoda. He's enjoying, but he's the enjoyer. He's entitled to enjoy. The enjoyer is entitled to enjoy, and he enjoys stimulating the love of his devotees. And that's the Leela. And from time to time he comes and he performs his Leelas, and then he disappears. Or he withdraws his physical or observable presence, and it becomes unmanifest or uppercut. But it's rasa, and that's the foundation of everything. Yes.
So, carrying on with that thought, so 3 times Krishna comes as their child. So we know that when you get Krishna's personal mercy like this, you get purified. So am I to assume that after 3 lifetimes, then the Mishra Bhakti must have gone?
Nice question. Well, Mishra can mean different things. You know, Karma Mishra and Jnana Mishra Bhakti. And both Karma Mishra and Jnana Mishra Bhakti can bring one to Shuddha Bhakti. This is Bhakti Sandarbha. We spoke about it, you know, in Alachua with Tamahar. It was nice. However, the unmixed bhakti, you know, your question specifically is because they went through those 3 lifetimes, doesn't mean therefore then the mix is gone. Not necessarily. If the residents of Vaikuntha, they know he's the personality of Godhead. And Vaikuntha is an eternal realm. It's not temporary realm. Well, the pastimes are manifest temporary in this world, but so they have Aishvarya Bhakti in Vaikuntha. So it doesn't mean that they're therefore the Aishvarya feature of their bhakti is now gone. Their eternal situation may not just be lifetime after lifetime in this world being mother and father, but their eternal situation may be in the Vaikuntha realm, and there's Aishvarya Bhakti. It has its place, but it's pure bhakti. And then there's the teaching that Lord Chaitanya came to give, or the teaching of Rupa Goswami, which is Lord Chaitanya's teaching, bhakti that doesn't have a mix. And that's very clear. That's Vrindavan, where Madhurya eclipses. The Aishvarya is there, but because within Krishna is everything. So the answer to your question is not necessarily. Depends upon the nature of their eternal love for Krishna. To say mixed doesn't mean not pure. The mixed can also be pure. Residents of Vaikuntha are pure. And they understand he's the supreme. Not just, I'm attracted. He has opulences, and I'm attracted to his opulences. In the back, and then, yeah.
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj, for the class. I have, if that is okay, I have one comment and 3 small questions. So the comment is, I got reminded of one of the class of Amarendra Prabhu when Vasudev is leaving and all the doors are open. So not exactly his words, but to the effect that he remembered his Guru Maharaj and saying that he says that when pure devotees are coming to America and they are carrying Bhagavatam with them, so the airport doors automatically open, and because Krishna is there in the this book form in their hands. So that was the comment. And my question is, first one is. Like Mother Devaki is seeing Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead in 4-handed form, and then he is transformed into a human child. And we saw a very beautiful slide when Krishna is leaving with, about to leave with Vasudeva, and she is very painfully, sorrowfully looking at face of Krishna. Yeah. And I was just wondering that she just knew that he's Supreme Personality of Godhead, and now immediately she has this motherly affection. So how this transition is so easily possible?
Well, we've discussed this, but I don't mind discussing it again. Using the metaphor of a river, and rasa is like a river, and sometimes the water in a river, there's a wave, and it goes up. And then sometimes that same water that's the wave subsides and it goes down. And then another wave, and then the river keeps moving because it's fluid, it's water, keeps moving. So how does it happen? It's sometimes and sometimes. And sometimes this, and then sometimes that, and that's rasa.
So the knowledge...
So it's... What determines it is the Supreme Personality of Godhead's happiness. It moves according to his happiness, and sometimes. And the happiness is variegated. Rasa is variegated by its very makeup. Next.
So Yamuna, my question was this overflooding of Yamuna, is it like just a speculation probably Guru Maharaj, that is it, is it an indication of her like, enthusiasm or happiness that she's so much overflooding?
You're a poet. Or at least an artist.
But then also a thought followed this, that if our enthusiasm becomes an obstacle for Krishna, then also that's not proper.
No, but Krishna will modulate. He can take care of it. Your enthusiasm.
Okay. Okay. And just last one, Guru Maharaj, that following up on Mansi Ganga Mataji's question, that what was that the reason that although pure bhakti, but there was a little mix, that Vasudev Krishna appeared and not the Swayam Bhagavan Krishna.
Yeah. That's not, although, but pure is pure. It's different kinds of pure. And so that's not poo-poo the pure devotion of the residents of Vaikuntha. Let's not make that mistake. It's pure. Have Krishna as your son. It's pure. It's just not. So the mix is the supreme in fullness of his opulence. It's a kind of love. It's pure love. It's prema. But not the same as the love that's in Vrindavan. It's pure. Not less than pure.
Thank you very much.
Okay. That's over here. Jivana?
I'm very, inspired, intrigued by just how year after year, each Janmashtami, especially your Divine Grace presence with us, brings such richness and depth and different facets of Krishna Janmashtami, of the birth pastime of Krishna. And my thoughts were going to the verse that one of the most quoted verses by Srila Prabhupada is Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvataha Chaktva teham punarjanma neti mameti sorjuna. And so the gift is punarjanma na, and to be back with Krishna. That's the gift that's being offered here. And the qualification is to have this transcendental, veti tattvam, to have transcendental knowledge of Krishna's divine appearance and activities. Something I fear is taking this lightly, because these stories are the same. We're hearing them over again. At the same time, there's so many facets and nuances to them. So my question is, this phrase that Krishna tells Arjuna, Veti Tattvam, are there layers to that?
Of course.
And can you expand on what those layers might be, and how we can take best advantage of this beautiful festival each year as the years go on and we're still alive?
Live your life in Krishna consciousness. I mean, it's a big question, so you got to give you a simple answer. The spiritual reality is not static. It's dynamic, and through the medium, this is, take Raghunath Das Goswami's statement, through the medium of becoming completely rejecting pride and seeking the positive association of the exalted souls, such as And that's how it continues to expand and expand and expand. Just like this little detour that this year took me on, at least, of, you know, the question that Sri Radhika asked about when Krishna fell in the water. And then where'd that come from? And so there's where it came from. And then Prabhupada speaking of it in two verses with no scriptural reference. But by the way, there are two scholars that confirmed, Hari Parshad and Amarendra confirmed the understanding that Jiva Goswami expresses in Gopal Champu is Vasudev Krishna was placed by the side of Yashoda. Vasudev Krishna became one with Swayam Bhagavan Krishna and one Krishna. Not that as they felt, but that whole detour, you're just trying to pursue what scriptural references are there. So it's just one. The inquisitive spirit is quite dynamic, and then the resource of exalted Vaishnavas besides our 6 Goswamis is abundant. And how to pick and choose, we pick and choose through the agency of our predecessor acharyas like Srila Prabhupada. And, you know, making reference, so when we read this in Prabhupada's Bhaktivedanta purports, you know, Canto 1, Chapter 19, and Canto 3, Chapter 2, he makes reference to the same thing without saying the name, then that person is a credible source. So we want credible sources. We want to hear from the right. So by being inquisitive, how much? Where's the limit to inquisitiveness? Or is there such a thing as an ocean that doesn't have a bottom? Material oceans have a bottom, and there is such an ocean that there's no bottom. So, you know, go for a swim in the ocean that has no bottom, and just continue to be inquisitive. You know, inquisitive, not just information inquisitive, but rasa inquisitive, and feel that place of shelter and connectedness. And then so many of these other things. There's a couple people in the room that asked some questions today about stuff, and you know, when you're going in that direction, there's true shelter. Stuff doesn't touch you, and then you just keep going with the place of shelter and the mood of service and doing what you know according to Guru Sadhu Shastra is pleasing to Krishna, and just keep going, and then that's your life. So you know, it's not just Krishna Janmashtami every year. I don't know where I'm going to be next year, but maybe it'll be here. I don't know. Let's see. And it's the principle of how one lives one's life, with Krishna at the center, and there's the ocean that has no bottom, and just keep going. And there's no limit. It's not the coming to the point where I say, now I know everything about Krishna. Evam yo veti tattvataha. Veti tattvataha. I know everything. Nothing more to be known. No such thing. So it's dynamic. And and strive to be in the association of those who live their lives that way. That's good. That's good association. And be respectful to others that they're not there yet. That's okay. Be an example for those that aren't there yet. And be discriminating, but you know, just like the verse that we read in the morning Bhagavatam class. Very, very similar. Okay, I'm going to end. Sri Radhika has to get a chance to say something.
I was really moved by the slides where Sri Hari Suri expresses the deeper meanings of the obstacles being falling away. And there's Krishna provides so many resources and so many lifelines to us. And I've also heard from you this funny phrase, Maya doesn't just roll over and play dead. She's going to be testing us. Do you really want me? Do you really want me? So there's both going on for us. There's just this incredible mercy descending and the tests of Maya. And what I'm wondering is which one of those we move over towards. Is that proportionate to our tendency to make offenses? So, because we're making offenses to the holy name, to the Vaishnavas, therefore, sometimes it seems these tests of Maya are actually overpowering the resources that I'm accessing.
In simple language, you're asking, is offense the number one obstacle that we have to overcome or avoid, or not inhibit our progress?
Yes.
That's the essence of your question.
Yes, and there's pride, and the root of offenses is pride. So it seems like pride and offensive mentality is the root of.
Okay. Well, you're in Raghunath Das Goswami's camp. It's a safe camp. And that's also an ocean that has no bottom. I think we're going to end. Srila Prabhupada ki